Folks, the beginning guide to KH Part 3 is coming up in the next video, but I wanted to take a break in this video and share how impressed I was with the NilocG brand of fertilizers. I used them exclusively for 5 months in this Krib Fry grow out tank. The results coming up right now. One of the products I want to talk about is NilocG's equivalent of root tabs. I've done videos on root tabs before, specifically flourish tabs and API root tabs. Not to say these aren't great products, they've done a great job for me and I got great plant growth. I was just very impressed with NilocG's equivalent of root tabs and their fertilizers in this Krib Fry grow out tank. Let's go back 5 months to the original tank build, August 24th, 2018. I do have a video on this build, and this was a budget tank build. I needed a tank to house Kribensis Fry, and I use number 20 pool filter sand, $10 to $12 a bag. You get a lot of mileage out of it. Now I know a lot of hobbyists don't like using sand as their substrate. Of course, that's all to taste. It's always done very well for me in my experience. That being said, I do understand why a lot of hobbyists don't like sand. They might not like the look, or it is of course an inert substrate. There's no nutrients there, so it's a little harder with planted tanks, and I think the success with sand depends on the type of root tabs that you use. Now in this video I did mention that I'd be using the NilocG root tabs and started to place these around the tank. Well, here are the results that I got. I want to mention a few specific plants. In the back left corner, this is called an Amazon sword apart. Here's where it was on October 24th. Here is October 5th. And of course, 5 months later on January 26th. Great growth using the NilocG root tabs. The sword is a heavy root feeder. So that was all the root tabs. Here's the Hygrophila Sunset on the right-hand corner. This is after 2 months. And here is after 5 months. You can see the growth I got there. It's a stem plant, but also does feed from the roots. So a lot of this growth was from the root tabs. Here's Crypt undulata in the middle, which looked very sad on the original build. Here is 2 months later, and here's 5 months later in the middle. This is after a trim. So again, great growth out of the crypt. How often do I use these tabs? Well, here's during a water change on January 26, 2019. I use them about every 2 months. I'll put them around the tank or put them in strategically if I feel like the plant needs a boost or it needs a little bit more nutrients. In this case, I hadn't fed the sword in a while and I thought it was right for another root tab or NilocG capsule. Now, one thing I do hear from hobbyists is that it's harder for root tabs to spread in sand. Well, if you look down here, this black area under the sand, this is nutrients from the root tab spreading out through the sand, and you can see one root here from the sword taking up those nutrients. So they definitely spread out fine in sand, at least that's my experience. Now what I've been using is Thrive C twice a week, and of course the Thrive tabs about every 2 to 3 months. Now one disclaimer, of course lighting plays a part in all this. We have to have good lighting and we have to do our water changes. Now I'm using a Planted Plus 24/7 CC, and I do run this on 24/7 mode, and I do a water change once a week, about 30–35%. But I have similar lighting in my other tanks, and I do water changes once a week in the other tanks, and using other fertilizers I didn't quite see the type of growth I did from using the NilocG fertilizer and root tabs. So if you'd like to check out NilocG, simply go to www.nilocg.com. Now they sell a lot of different aquarium products. This is the liquid fertilizer section. Here is their regular Thrive. This is for tanks with a pH of 7 or higher. They have Thrive Plus for tanks with a pH under 7 or low pH tanks. And the product that I'm using is, I believe this is newer. This is Thrive C, and this is an interesting product. I hadn't seen this out with any other company. This is fertilizer, but it also uses a carbon substitute. Now this is similar to products like Excel, products that give you that carbon substitute if you're not running CO2 in your tanks. Now here's what's interesting about the Thrive C. It contains a non-glute-based source of bioavailable carbon, providing 2 to 3 times the amount of other carbon supplements. This to me was interesting because products like Excel use glute-based products. They're said to be fairly dangerous, and they're designed to be more of an algicide than a carbon substitute for the plant, so nice to see NilocG using a non-glute-based carbon source. You can see the other ingredients in Thrive C there. The root tabs are located right on top of the page. Just click on root tabs, you'll see them come up. And you get 60 root tabs per order. Looks like right now they have free shipping going on, and with regard to shipping, I know that NilocG ships almost everywhere around the world, including Canada, so they certainly do accommodate you there. So here are the results from the original tank build to 5 months later. I was certainly very impressed and wanted to share this just in case you might want to check out NilocG's products. In my experience, their customer service has been excellent. When you contact them, you'll likely hear back from their owner, Colin, who is always responsive and answers any questions you may have. Again, this video is not sponsored by NilocG. I just thought it was worth sharing the results. Of course, I also hope the video was helpful to you in some way. Please like, comment, subscribe for future content, and folks, as always, thanks for watching.